Hello, welcome to your platform. Talk to my teen. One word, talk to my teen. To my teen, to our teens, to our teenagers. The channel that comes with one mission to empower parents when dealing with their teenagers, when dealing with their children. My name is Joe Jacquet. The title of today's video is How to Manage the Impact of the Environment on our teenagers. How to manage the impact of the environment on our teenagers. To all my parents, to my grandparents out there, to my future parents, to the uncles and aunties, to the good neighbors, to the school teachers, to the babysitters, to the daycare providers, to the youth coaches, to the religious youth leaders, and to anyone with a heart for a young child out there. This is for you. I have made this initiative part of my vocation, part of my mission to talk to and about teenagers, to talk to about youth. In my experience in the field of law enforcement, I noticed that most police officers often preferred to steer away from teenagers, from juvenile. Why? They believe that teenagers are disrespectful. They believe that they are rebellious, and they believe that they are too difficult to deal with. However, interestingly, I often find myself inclined toward young people, toward teenagers. I think I do not take credit for it. I think it's a blessing from God. It seems that I have always found a way to connect with a young person, regardless of their personality, regardless of their mood. So let's get to work. How to manage the impact of the environment on our teenagers. You may recall that in previous videos we spoke about different factors that can affect our teenagers' behavior, such as education, family setting, and the environment. The environment is often misunderstood, misinterpreted when it comes to the impact on our children's behavior. This is why I am dedicating this video to focus solely on the environment. Many parents often blame the environment for all of their children's problems, when in reality, the problems are not all caused by the environment. However, you will also find other parents who focus on other sources and fail to realize that sometimes the real culprit may be the environment. But how do we understand that? How do we differentiate? First of all, what is the environment? And how can we tell if the environment is a contributing factor in our teenagers' behavioral issue? The environment in the context of teenagers' behavior is every outside forces that have an impact on a child's upbringing. It can start with the very home where this young child lives, where he learns the foundation of social, emotional behaviors. Then it may grow to the outer circle, which is where the child is exposed to society, to cultural beliefs through formal education and now through social media. So in a practical way, we can list the following channels. We could say, hey, they get that through the school the child goes to, the parents and siblings whom this child interacts with, the park where he plays and meets other peers, the teachers he meets in school, the social and economic bracket he falls in, etc. We must remember that the environment is not always a negative factor. When the author said that man is a product of their environment, it means both good and bad. For instance, when a child is being raised by an elderly grandparent who cannot afford to properly supervise and provide for this child, if a well-off person takes this child home and raises this child along with his own children in a healthy environment, you can most likely expect a productive young person later on. Likewise, if a child was growing up in a good environment, good and healthy environment, but suddenly lost both of their parents and ended up with some older siblings or the parents in whose house there are no rules, no discipline, this child might most likely finish by declining and behave like other people in his company. Again, bear in mind that the result may vary. So now that we define environment in the context of children's upbringing, we also understand that the environment can have either a positive and or negative impact on the child's upbringing. Therefore, the question is now, how can a parent help provide a positive and healthy environment for their children? How can parents do that? Before we answer that question, let us try to clear this particular myth that many parents seem to have in their mind. I often heard parents complain that my child was a good child until he met this certain people, certain peers who corrupt my child. Yes, I too believe that bad companies corrupt good manners. However, you must also know that in most cases, and please pay attention to this, you may not like what I'm about to say, but in most cases, children willingly, and I said willingly and consciously choose their companies. This is not popular. They choose who they want to be with. And this, in his book titled Inside the Criminal Mind, American psychologist Stanton Samnow explained how from a very young age, children seem to incline towards friends or peers that they themselves seem to be compatible with. In other words, it is not random that out of every kids in the schoolyard, some children seem to find a way to connect with the trouble kid, with the troublemakers. I've seen it firsthand for over 20 years, for over 2 decades. I've seen it on the street. I worked the street. I know I dealt with young people on a daily basis for a good 12 years of my career. I've seen it all. And I could give you hundreds of examples that would make this video too long. If you don't believe me, next time pay attention to the trouble youth group that you see on the street. They have no problem finding a group of disciples following them. Why? There's something in that trouble group that affects the incoming youth. This attraction is for everyone in the schoolyards. It's exposed, it's there. But some youth are attention seekers. They are seeking the same vibes that the trouble youth is already offering. So they click, they connect. Now, your teenagers, my teenagers might be on the same school playground. If they are vulnerable, if they are not mentally strong enough, if there is chaos in their own home, they too will easily fall in the same temptation and follow the trouble group. Having said that, is there hope? Can parents help create a good environment? And can a good environment help? Absolutely. Here is a formula I found to be very helpful. Number one, number one, the environment you want for your child, you've got to create it yourself. We often look and find a good spot to carefully park our cars. Why? Because we want that car to be safe. When we come back, we find it. We don't just leave our car in a bad spot where people are gonna throw debris and garbage on. We don't leave it in a spot where you think, or in a corner at the edge where it's prone to be hit by other cars. We don't do that. So how much more we should do the same thing, create the same environment for our children. We look for safe place to keep our jewelries, our precious belongings, not only to keep them away from the thieves, but to keep them from corrosion. So folks, there is a different types of corrosion that affect our children. That is the bad environment, the bad seed. So I say to you, we must keep our children from certain friends, from certain family members' house. And you say, yeah, family member, yeah. Now, I'm not saying all of them. There has to be connection, there has to be network. But there's certain houses that you already know that things are not going too well there. Why leaving your child overnight there? Why sending your child to do sleepover there? Why letting your child for 4 or 5 hours playing with that kid that you know that this kid is not doing too well? If the only park near your home is prone to trouble kids, then guess what? Make a sacrifice. Escort your kids to the park. Now you may say, well, you can't do this too often. I understand that. But when you can, maybe you might consider a sacrifice by moving from the community you live in. Maybe you might consider a different school. Formula number 2, we move and replace. Don't forget, you don't want little Johnny to hang out with certain friends. You must find a decent group of friends or 1-2 friends little Johnny could play with. When you remove something, you got to replace it by something else. You ask him not to practice certain hobbies, but are you willing to make a sacrifice to spend money for him to learn maybe a musical instrument, maybe to a certain sport where there's some fees, some expenses involved? Are you willing to take your child for some type of sport practice, for some practice with a coach, with a group of other kids where you know that they are in a safe environment? Or you do not have time for that, or you can't sacrifice that? It's the choice is ours, folks. So the lesson to learn in remove and replace formula is that young people have so much energy. Their brains must be occupied. If we parents do not provide that thing, that activity to occupy the vacuum created by the removal, they will themselves find another hobbies to fill it. And I'm afraid that in many cases, their next hobbies might be worse than what you have removed. I hope that helps some parents out there. You may have different or supportive ideas to this conversation. Please drop a line to the in the comment section and subscribe to the channel. Why not? Talk to my team so we could continue talking. Until next time, may the God of creation who blessed you with your children also keep you safe and successful together. God bless.